Hey guys, how's it going? It's your Captain Yeehaw Yadam here with what seems to be the end of the week of LoL, right? So I've been playing a lot of LoL this week, just testing it out, as the in-person regional in Orlando starts coming a little bit closer, one that I've been testing for that I'll be participating in. I wanted to really test out how good LoL was, and I guess the final thing that we needed to check out was the LoL mirror match. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other matchups that I didn't showcase here that you should be aware of. But I think with the information given to you into these videos with these specific matchups, you should be pretty aware of what's going on. So I do win the die roll, which I do think is a little bit important here. And I have the Dagura start. Now Dagura, hopefully he doesn't have an immediate out. And I don't think on 2 the deck plays one. But going into the next turn, if he does have an out to this Dagura, I'm going to be in a very bad spot. So my opponent here starts with the Curly D. Which isn't terrible. Like the only other better play I guess would be like double 1-drop, and it's always like situational on what you want to do with those double 1-drops, but Curly D is not a bad choice. So it grabs the starter deck Nami, and I think we're playing very similar decks at this time. We're just testing out like the Nami Daguras and the balls to the wall version, I think is what I would call this. I'm going to go with the 3 Dawn here, and I believe I kept the hand with Vista. I think Vista is a very important card in this matchup. I'm going to go ahead and swing first, see how he responds to it, and then I'm just going to play out my Vista. Now, there's always a question to be asked when you have the Vista, when to play the Vista, because obviously whoever plays the Vista first is in a really bad spot, right? If I Vista, then he Vistas my Vista, I can no longer like LoL plus play Vista. So it doesn't seem like I have it this turn. So I just play Veggie and pass, which is really, really weird, right? But I do leave up 2 Dawn, which is a little bit suspicious. You can try to say that I'm bluffing a Red Hawk. But again, this is playtest, and my opponent knows my exact list, and we know each other's list, so we shouldn't be really afraid of anything here. And now he has to decide what he wants to do. He'll swing at me for 5 here. Gonna go ahead and take. Now, he doesn't swing with the Zoro because the moment he swings with the Zoro, it leaves his board very susceptible. I play Otama, and I just start going to town, right? Which is unfortunate. I opt to use Dagura's ability. I might not. Who knows? It looks like we're going to start off with Bonnie, right? Because my turn is, I do believe that my turn is very, very telegraphed here, unfortunately. So I'm going to use Bonnie here. I'm going to add the LoL to my hand. I'm going to go ahead and use Dagura to summon Otama. I will play a 1-drop of some sort. It doesn't really necessarily matter. I think I just end up playing another Otama. Right. And then I will Shambles for 2. Add the Dagura to my hand to play the LoL. LoL's ability will shamble up the Bonnie, and I will be playing a Vista, which is a very brutal turn for my opponent. Shambling on, I could have potentially done this on a prior turn. That's what's really cool about Dagura. It allows you to shamble when you don't expect it. Double Dagura, as you saw from the last video, is just really, really insane. The fact that I was able to take care of the Zoro is also really, really good in combination of also flooding my board, which is very, very good. So he's going to go ahead and swing at me for 5. I'm going to go ahead and take this block here. Since I do have the Veggie and he wants to come in like Otamas and things of that nature, he can more than welcome to do so. So he's going to go ahead and play Vista. And yeah, again, like I said, Vistaing first is most of the time pretty bad. But it is what it is. He's going to go ahead and use Dagura's ability to summon Nami. He's at 5. He can go ahead and shamble here. The question is, does he have anything impactful to shamble into, right? So this list, unfortunately, it really does live or die by the Bonnie. If you don't have, Bonnies to really get your value, to get you your laws, and then obviously he's joking here, he can't restand the leader, but that would be really cool. I don't know if it'd be good. It's obviously, more options is probably good, but maybe it's too good. So I'm going to go back to my turn. I'm going to go ahead and play my Bonnie out right now that I have 4 characters out. It's just the perfect time. You don't mind if a character leaves the board. You kind of always want to go ahead and push something out, so you can always Bonnie repeatedly. I do get another law, which is excellent, and my only red targets seem to be my Otamas, which you always want to like swing with your red target, bounce it for the law, and like get all your value like that. But I don't see myself attaching 5 Dawn to Otama. It's just not happening. I'm gonna go ahead and swing for 7. There's no reason not to use my Dawn as efficiently as possible. I'm gonna go 7, 7, shamble. Go ahead and bounce Otama, play a Law. Law's ability, am I going to bounce the Bonnie or the Otama? I opt to go for the Otama as opposed to the Bonnie, and then I'm going to go ahead and use Nami's ability here to suction onto the Law as a joke. But It is important to note that I did leave the Bonnie in rest mode, which means he can go ahead and attack into it. Once again, I don't think I'm going to need it in order to win this game. It's like down to the wire. You know, the most pivotal card in the Law deck is Trafalgar Law from the OP-01 set. And I have 2, and he has 0. Goes ahead and swings Curly D into the Bonnie, and that's not something I'm going to go ahead and defend. Again, I want a board of 4 cards here. The best that he can do is probably go ahead and like Otama my Law and then like start punishing me for turning it sideways. But we'll see if he has to really have it, right? The Otama is another crucial piece in this deck, right? I think maybe, you know, I'd argue to say one of the most important pieces. I'm going to go ahead and defend the 6. He swings 6. I go ahead and I block. And then he has 5. Now I'm going to go 7. I mean, he knows I have double Otama in hand, so the 7's not going to work exactly. But he can't really go much higher. He has to actually go, maybe 8 is the number he goes. Then he can shambles off of that. So he goes 6. I can probably an Otama here. Yep. And then he still has a bit of Dawn to work with. He's going to go ahead and use the ability to shamble up the Vista to play a... Oh. Yeah, I think we're just trying to figure out what's going on with the board state. The fact that the characters are stacked on each other, I think messed me up. So he's going to go ahead and shamble up the Vista for a Basil Hawkins. And then he's going to sack off the Curly D and sack off the Nami in order to try and live. But that is very difficult, right? I need to go ahead and draw a very specific combination of cards in order to like really push through here. Basil Hawkins is terrifying, right? The fact that that card is back in the meta just showcases exactly how little pistol is in the game. I'm going to go ahead and use Bonnie. Bonnie's going to find me Monkey D. And Luffy's very impactful here as it allows me to push for game very easily through these blockers. He has to go ahead and block every attack that that goes through. He has 3 cards in hand, or 4, and I know one of them is a Vista, so I'm going to go ahead and push him as much as I can. I'll go 7. 7. That's he countered out of 1, blocked the other, and now he's down to 2 cards. And I think I end up going 7 here as well. But it's a tough call. I go Veggie, and then I'll go ahead and shamble up the Bonnie. And I think I play the Luffy, and I Passaroni Pepperoni. Right, just because, like I said, again, knowing each other's decks is very important. There are some Law decks that can afford to play Jet Pistol still, right? If you're playing the starter deck Nami, it's the probability of you playing the pistol is very, very low in my opinion, because that deck, like I said, is balls to the wall. It just wants to go ahead and shamble up, go hard, hit you for 6 in the Whitebeard matchup. So I've seen, it's knowledge. You know, you could still probably play pistol in that deck, but the versions I've seen of it really don't, right? And because of that, I'm using that to my advantage. Now, if I saw Nami from set 1, then I start playing around it maybe a little bit harder, and you probably can't summon like your 6 drops in situations like that, aka Basil Hawkins or the Monkey D Luffy, right? You can't just go ahead and run them out in situations like that because you could immediately get punished. So you're going to go ahead and swing at me for 5. I'm going to take majority of these hits, right? Because I don't think he has a way to lethal me with the amount of Dawn that he has left, right? You have to always make sure that you have that, that you're cognizant of that from your opponent. So he has 5 Dawn available to him, and I have 2 life, and I believe I have 5 or 4 cards in my hand. So by the time he goes and puts me to 0, and he goes for the final attack here, he's going to have to push through like a 6 or 7 cards in hand, something along that nature, which isn't really too easy for him to do. He's going to go ahead and attach 1 Dawn to the leader, hit me for 6, and I'm going to go ahead and pitch that second Otama that I shambled off a turn or 2 ago. He has 4 Dawn left, 6 again. I let this one go through probably. I could defend it. Oh, I just give him the Brook. And then that's certainly game, right? But you want to go ahead and make sure that you can bait your opponent, right? But sometimes baiting gets a little spooky. Goes ahead and plays a Chopper, which is dangerous for myself, right? He has the Chopper. Plays Vista? No? Yes. Okay. Goes for the Chopper instead. So he has double blocker plus a life, so I have to hit him at least 4 times this turn, and he has a 2-card hand, which doesn't seem very difficult to do. I do have the Nami that can, funnily enough, get there. So I'm going to go ahead and swing at him for 6. And I believe at this time I'm pretty aware of what's left in his hand. So he goes ahead and he blocks with Veggie. I go ahead and I Vista the Chopper, swing with for 7, and now he has to give me both cards in hand, and he's lethal no matter what. And then I just put everything on Monkey D. Luffy. So was able to take this game, a very, very close one. I think we started talking about exactly what we could have done. I had a Zoro in hand as well, so maybe that 6 was a little bit troll. Like, I think that's what we were arguing, that maybe I should have just put 1 down here and gone 7, and then proceeded with the game as we had imagined it would go. So I hope you guys liked this video, and leave a like down below. Any comments on anything you want to talk about? How do you feel about Law? Where do you think this deck can go in this meta? And as always, if you guys like these videos, make sure to join that pirate crew by hitting the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.